Welcome back. This is the mail chat for the February 22nd of 2015, and if anyone hasn't seen the mail chat before, it's like a vlog mixed with, I suppose, an Ask Me Anything Q&A session with anything posted in the comments down below, on Twitter, email, anything like that. So if you have a question to ask about literally anything, just feel free to leave it in the comments, or shoot me a message on Twitter, or send me an email, and I'll be sure to get it in next week's mail chat. So, as you can see, we're on the Wynncraft server once again. I was thinking about bringing the mail chat back to the Meet the Mobs world, but I realized that I wanted to do something specific, like I had something special in mind for the Meet the Mobs world mail chat, and I haven't set that up yet in the series. So I think we're going to go for another week of playing Wynncraft. Plus, it's just kind of fun. I had the footage anyway. So I might as well do that. Another difference, I suppose, between recording on Meet the Mobs and recording on Wynncraft is that on Wynncraft, I'm doing this talking post playing. I'm not talking while I'm playing at the same time, which I think has its pros and cons. Like it's a little bit less organic because it's more like this like podcasty feel, like this talky feel, rather than like an organic Let's Play feel. But at the same time, I can focus a lot more on the questions. I don't have to get like distracted and dawdle around with like farming and cutting wood and stuff. Which I suppose just let me know how you feel about either format, because I could totally do Meet the Mobs with voiceover as well, but that doesn't really work with the idea I had in mind. So anyway, just let me know, and I suppose the mail chat will be tailored to what everyone says as well. Without further ado, let's move on to the first question by Ariel or Ariel, depending on if you ask Sebastian or not. Asks, what is your favorite map from Minecraft? And I don't think I have a favorite. I've always wanted to like set up a page where I like compile like a list of maps that I really enjoyed playing, like a list of favorites. I don't have a single favorite right now, but if anyone knows a good place where I can make a list like that, I was thinking about using something like a Google spreadsheet or a Google document, but I'm still looking maybe for something that is like more easily sortable, more easily viewable. I was thinking about putting it on a personal website eventually, but I have to make the personal website first, so that won't be for a little bit. But out of all the maps I've played so far, of course I really like the Meet the Mobs maps by Oudkia. There's a lot of like content to play with and a lot of content to play around with for Let's Plays. I feel I can be really creative on those survival maps. That's why I really enjoy those. Another map I really enjoyed was Nate T. Bird's Dungeon Arena 2. I think it's complex, but I don't think it's overwhelming, and I think that the number of choices in that game and like the whole build and the whole like gameplay of action, etc., just makes for overall really enjoyable and fun experience that you can play over and over again. Like I played it, I think 3 times so far. Once for the series, I played it on stream a couple times, and it's just great fun. It also works really well with multiplayer. From the Bite of series, I think my favorites so far were Treasure Island. I think it was a really well put together, non-intrusive survival map. I think that DCHID really did a good job of melding like a story and a lore into the Minecraft game without making it over the top. I also think another one that I really enjoyed was Depths of Rakala, but I think I'd have to, from Depths of Rakala was from the first bite of I ever did, and I'd have to go back and relook at it because when I was playing that and when I was just piloting the series, I had no idea what I was doing. So I don't feel like I got a really good look at it, but from what I saw, it seemed like a really impressive put together build. Let's see, the next question by Ariel as well says, do you have any tips for making videos? And of course there are generic tips like be yourself and like have fun, but I'm really sure that's not the answer you're looking for. Personally, I think I'm still less than a year into YouTube, so I don't have like that many super pro tips. But what I've learned so far is that for recording, 2 basic tips is that to not record when you really don't feel like it, like don't force it. Don't record when you're really tired, like I do all the time. A lot of times when I record like and it's past 11 p.m. at night, or I suppose 2300, the recordings just turn out really bad even if I try really hard. So I've learned to try and avoid those as much as possible. Like I'm pretty sure if I watched through my videos again and I just like had to guess if I recorded it past 11 or not, I'm pretty sure I could tell on all of them. For the record, I'm recording this at about 6:40 p.m., so I am much more awake right now. Let's see, another thing is that you should always do test recordings. I've made the error of not doing a test recording a couple times, or I've been like blindsided by noises that I never knew existed in Minecraft, like the wither explosions. I didn't realize the wither explosions. This is for the bite of the dying sun. I didn't realize the wither explosions were classified under block noises, so I didn't have them balanced correctly. So like when we got to the wither boss, it's just like explosions. That's all you could hear. And it was pretty awful. So, I suppose that's another tip that I didn't think about. Wither explosions are classified as block noises. So, yeah, you should probably test that out. Another thing that you should probably test for is background noises like traffic and computer fans and other like peripheral noises like mouse clicking and keyboard clicks. I know on my videos, I still have those sounds in there, but I try to mitigate them as much as possible by positioning my mic, like playing around with the positioning and playing around with like the distance of my keyboard and mouse, etc. I don't have a really expensive setup. I don't have like a really expensive mic. I don't have like much of like noise filters or soundproof stuff. I have no idea. I don't really know anything about sound. That's something I'm trying to learn more about as right now. But so I just try to play around with like the distance and where my mic goes. That's kind of the extent of my sound engineering knowledge. For editing videos, I've gone through a lot of changes in my editing video philosophy, my video editing philosophy. I started off like wanting to put like a ton of work, like to make each video like really, I suppose, flashy and kind of exciting. So I added a lot of like funny pop-ups and like annotations by myself. I mean, I still think that subtle annotations are really good, but I've tried to like distance myself from doing that too much. I watched a video. This is actually completely random, and I never even talked to him about this, but I watched this completely random video by Snaker a long time ago, where he was just saying that he didn't really like too many edits in videos because he thinks it like distracts from like the let's play and distracts from the game when like you're kind of like playing a game, you know, you're not, I suppose, like putting on this like stand-up comedy act. But I didn't really think about it much at the time, but I think it influenced me because I had it in the back of my head. And when I looked at my old videos and I saw like some of my edits, not all of them of course, I thought like, yeah, this is getting a little bit corny, you know, and unnecessary. So I've tried to distance myself. I still put edits and snippets in when I think it's really appropriate, or when I think that there's like a joke that has to be made. But I've tried to make the jokes while recording instead. I try to make like really subtle edits through transitions and music, and that's where most of my editing goes. And the next question comes from Eveeeon, who actually just started streaming on Twitch TV on Twitch TV a lot more. I think she said that she streams on Mondays and Fridays. I'm not sure exactly what time she usually starts, but definitely check that out if interested. And she asked, will Oib ever be freed from the tyranny? This is embarrassing. I don't know how to pronounce that. Tyrant. Okay, so the root word is tyrant. So the word is tyrannous? Tyrannous. Wow. I should have practiced. How do you pronounce that word? I don't actually know. Anyway, the tyrantiest ruler of the desolate village in the sky. Let me actually read that all again. I totally botched that. Will Oip ever be freed from the tyrannous ruler of the desolate village in the sky? I don't know what you're talking about. I'm a great ruler. Actually, I don't think I'm the ruler anymore. I think the new mob rights movement kind of took over the island after they threw me in jail and all of that stuff. Next thing you know, they'll start taxing me, but hopefully not. She also asks, will he ever take on board the morals which his world tries to teach him? I mean, apparently it took me 6 years and a lot of disgruntled citizens for me to realize anything. But stepping out of character for a second, I have some plans for the future of Meet the Mobs again that hopefully explores some shady issues of morality, and we'll see how that plays out. But it'll be fun, and no more spoilers. So next question is that, what is my favorite chocolate? And I don't really know exactly. I think this is another thing. I don't specifically have a favorite, but I have a preference. And I know I don't like white chocolate, mostly because it's not actual chocolate. I like chocolates with dried fruits and nuts in them. I know that's kind of weird, and a lot of I suppose chocolate enthusiasts will frown and distaste upon me. But I think I like dried fruits a little bit more. As for nuts, I like almonds and walnuts sometimes. I can't eat peanuts or macadamia nuts due to allergies. But in terms of like chocolate darkness, I think I like dark chocolate around 60 to 70%. I tried 100% dark chocolate once, and I died. It was way too much. But apparently if you eat like 2 ounces of dark chocolate a day, it gives you like antioxidants that helps you fight off against sunburn and skin cancer. It's like edible sunscreen, but delicious. But anyway, that's the random chocolate fact for the day, I suppose. And Eveeeon also asked, how's the map making coming along? And the answer to that is... Don't look at me, I'm embarrassed. I have a concept. I have a concept for a map, but have I placed a single block down? The answer is no. I'm ashamed. I'm sorry. I posted on Twitter that I do it, and then I'm not doing it. I'm an embarrassment. But what I guess I've been doing is I've been working on fleshing out server ideas with Sempuden on his stream, on his Twitch stream. He started Minecraft like I suppose like 3 to 4 weeks ago, and he's like really into this idea of building a server. I'm not exactly sure why, because when I started, like, servers never really crossed my mind. But he really wants to build a server. So we're working on building a survival RPG kind of feel server for that. Anyway, next question, I suppose, comes from Eminem Plays Minecraft, or Isaac John on the forums. He's also working on his second map. His first map was Indiana Jones, if you want to check that out if you haven't already. Says... How many siblings do you have, if any? And I have 1.5 siblings, meaning I have one brother. I have one brother and one half brother. Both are older, since I'm the baby of the family. The next question says, what are a few of your favorite books? Now, honestly, I'm not very much of a reader at all. I don't do that much reading, which is really bad, I know. I know that reading, like, increases your thoughts and stuff, and probably would... If I read, I probably wouldn't be fumbling over this line right now. But I don't read that much, not even for school. The last time I've read a book that I was required to read in school has been, honestly, about 8 years. All throughout high school, all throughout college, like in required books, I just spark note it, which is really bad. And I feel like I should be learning things, but I haven't because I haven't been reading. But out of all the books I've read, I suppose, out of the few books I've read, I meant, one of my favorites was actually a book called 5 People We Meet in Heaven by Mitch Albom, which is a book about a veteran who works as maintenance staff at an amusement pier. And the first chapter, oh no, I think the first chapter is called The End or something, and he dies. Which I think it's a book about exploring, I suppose, exploring someone's life. It's a lot about reflection. And I think it's interesting because books, I suppose, since I'm not an avid book reader, I'm not a book connoisseur, it's really about like being the right book at the right time, you know? Something that really I read and like changes my perspective on life for the better. And I think that the book was kind of like that. Like, I don't know if it was like a stellarly written book or anything like that. I thought it was, but I'm not sure since I don't have that much to compare to. But it was just something that I could relate a lot to, and it really struck a chord with me, and I probably cried. So that's the answer to that question. What's your favorite subject in school and why? Favorite subject in school, huh? Well, I mean, considering that I haven't read in 8 years, you can probably tell that I don't really like school. I don't really like the classes that I'm taking. I think it has a lot to do with the school I'm at, the university I'm at right now. I've grown more and more resentful of going to university as time goes on, which is really bad. But if there's any good programming classes, I'd probably like that. The problem with the program I'm in right now is that everything is really out of date. Like, it's like 6-7 years out of date, like everything that they're teaching, which is pretty bad. Right now I just go and self-teach myself because that's the only way I can kind of learn, which is not good. But other than that, I like a good ethics class. What the school, I suppose, has some pretty decent classes in is they have, at least the teachers I've had have been really, really good teachers of ethics. And I think a lot of people forget to like question why they do things. And I like classes that put students under a lot of like self-reflection rather than just digesting numbers and facts and then spewing them back out on a sheet of paper. And I think that the couple classes of ethics I've taken have been really good at that. Next question is, what is your favorite board game? And I really like board games, actually. I think board games and video games for me are something that I really enjoy taking a good deep look at and playing a lot of. And right now I've been playing a lot of Dominion, as I had a video on the channel a little while ago, but I was dissatisfied with the format, so I think I'm going to switch it up for other games on the channel. But I've been playing a lot of Dominion. I've been checking out Star Realms a little bit, which is like a sci-fi deck building version of Dominion, although the gameplay is a lot different, and I think the mechanics make it a totally separate game. But actually, I don't know if you even count Dominion and Star Realms as board games. I mean, they come in a board game box, but they're like card games. But I think that they do count as board games since they're like standalone. You know, they're like, there's you don't have to like go out and buy like booster packs or anything like that. They're like, you just get the box and you can play. So I think I would consider it like in the board game genre. Another board game that I really like playing is I like playing Settlers of Catan a lot. I think it has a problem with time. I think it's really easy to say that like time, since it's like a long social gathering party game. I think that it's easy to say that time isn't really a design issue with board games, but when you're in like a 6 to 8 person party and turns are taking like 10-15 minutes with only one player making decisions, I think it can take away a lot of the fun and like disengage people as it goes. And what else is there? We actually finished the questions for this week. If anyone else has any more questions to ask for next week, please feel free to leave them in the comments, etc. And I think I'm liking this format of voicing over recordings because I can get through a lot more questions. I feel like I can answer questions with a lot more depth and detail than I would if I'm just playing the game as is. But once again, just let me know as it goes. And in terms of channel news and vloggy stuff, that's a funny word. Vloggy. Anyway, in terms of channel news, I suppose I've been thinking a lot about other games on the channel since last week, and I've decided that I would have other games on the channel. I've never been flipping back and forth on them, but I'm convinced now that the reason why I didn't like the other games on the channel besides Minecraft was because of the video format, not so much of the existence of other games. I didn't really like doing that first look bite of thing, or like that first impressions single game thing for other games. So I think if I'm gonna have other games on the channel, then it's going to be more series based and like a lot more depth based. Daniel Marshall actually suggested that I do a bite of for other games as well, like extend the bite ofs to other games, but I still need to think more about that. The thing is that I don't play that many other games. The reason why I do bite ofs primarily is because I don't really have the time to make a series of all the Minecraft maps I can get my hands on. But for other games, I usually sit down and play them a lot more, so I have time to make more of a series look at that. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Plus, I also kind of want to keep the bite of consistently to Minecraft maps. But once again, I'll stew over it. I'll let it noodle. Then I'll come back and do that. But anyway, I think that's it for this mail chat. I think this is a kind of a longer one, which I don't think is a bad thing. But as always, thank you all for watching. And I'll see you all next week. Be sure to leave the comments in the comment section down below. Awkward sentence. And I'll see you all next time.